Welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast, your home for inspiring conversations with outdoor insiders. Each week, author, speaker, adventurer, and outdoor industry veteran Rick Saez talks in depth with iconic brand founders, sales and marketing pros, product designers, and industry rising stars. Listen in when Rick's guests offer actionable advice to land your ideal industry gig and grow your outdoor career. Catch us again when the conversation shifts to the hottest outdoor products, destinations, and the latest industry insights. And now, here's Rick.
Welcome to episode 331 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Aaron Provine, founder of Geartrade. Aaron tells us how you can buy and sell the gear you love for all your outdoor adventures. Keep your gear out of landfills and give it a longer life. It's the UnNew outdoor. Welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be on here.
Yeah, this is fun. I'm glad to have you. It's an interesting new thing you have going there. I'm excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell everybody about Geartrade and what we're doing.
There you go. Yeah. So let's start with how you were introduced to the outdoors. How'd that happen?
Yeah, so I'm pretty lucky in the sense that I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, which is a pretty outdoorsy place in general, right? I mean, everybody wants to move to Colorado. Colorado's known for the outdoors, and growing up in Boulder, I was always around the mountains, always kind of doing things outside. Grew up skiing as a kid, grew up backpacking as a kid, mountains, and just being in the outdoors is kind of who I am and kind of how I've lived my life. So I've never lived in a city.
Boulder's kind of a big city, though. I mean, compared to Bishop.
I mean, now it is.
Yeah.
I haven't lived in Boulder in about 22 years. When I was growing up, there was still land in between Denver and Boulder.
Right.
Now it's connected. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting little microcosm of an area, right? I mean, you have the Flatirons, which do a lot of climbing, and El Dorado Canyon, and there's always little funky things. Estes Park, Rocky Mountain National Park. You have Eldora, right? Kind of one of the most forgotten about ski areas in the front range there. And the Continental Divide, and just the millions of things to do right off of that. And as a kid, like my parents, always got us out doing outdoor things. And it's just always been what I've done.
Were you guys doing outdoor things like skiing, hiking, biking, and also camping? Did that involve camping as well? Or did you just go do the activity and head back to the house? Because Boulder, you could do that, right? You can be doing great things and then sleep in your own bed.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but I mean, we do it all, right? I mean, go backpacking, go car camping, go camping on a campground. You do all of that stuff in the summer. It's the entire area is just conducive to being able to do outdoor things, and I was pretty lucky in the sense that I was exposed to that at a pretty young age. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, great place to live. I spent some time, lived in Louisville for about a year or so. Yeah.
That area is generally a stopping off point for most people in the outdoor industry, right? It's like they're going to see you Boulder, right, or they work for a brand, for one of the numerous brands that are in that area, or whatever it may be. It's always seems to kind of be a little bit of a stopping point.
Yeah, it's a good spot. You're kind of out of the hustle and bustle of Boulder, but like you said, I mean, Boulder to Denver's connected now, so there really is no way to get out of it.
Yeah, I'm blown away by how much that area is.
Yeah,
growing.
It's amazing. Even I was there probably late 2000s. I'm forgetting the dates, but maybe 2010. But yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, I've been back for trade shows and stuff, and it's just solid concrete.
It's wild. It's wild. I mean, the amount of growth there has been wild. But I mean, even where I'm living now, so I moved from Boulder to Salt Lake City to go to the University of Utah. And really, the funny part about the story is I wanted to get closer to skiing. Right? There's kind of this idea that Boulder is like in the mountains and skiing's really close. But I moved to Salt Lake so that I could be even closer. Right? Snowbird and Alta 30 minutes away from the University of Utah, and so now I live in Park City.
Well, that's grown a lot too. I got my master's from BYU in 1986.
Oh wow!
So that whole area has grown a ton.
It's exploded. Salt Lake's done a lot of really good things over the last couple of years, and I think the Olympics was kind of a really big kind of turning point, I think, for the area, because it exposed Salt Lake to a lot of different people, and it's brought in just so many different people into the area.
Yeah. That globalization too, exposing the town and the other folks to different cultures and people, I think that helps a ton.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Cool. So what was the inspiration behind Geartrade? Just to get better gear deals for yourself? No, can't be it.
Yeah, I worked at Backcountry for about 14 years. And so I left Backcountry.com at the end of 2018. And I kind of taken a little bit of some time off and just trying to figure out like what's important to me and what things am I really interested in tackling, what problems do I want to tackle. And the things that kind of came to mind were, number one, being kind of just general consumption trends. I think our consumerist behavior in America has become very oriented towards just consumption, just consuming, buying things just to buy things.
Our life kind of has, right? It's just about going shopping. When did that become an activity?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question. And when it really hit home was over the years, I've just amassed a lot of gear. I've got a lot of skis, a lot of ski boots, a lot of bikes, a lot of stuff like that. And I was looking for a good place to sell it. And eBay didn't really feel like a great spot. So I kind of went down a path of trying to figure out like how do I move this? How do I sell it? How do I make some money off of it? How do I get it into somebody else's hands that they're actually going to use it? And it kind of led me down the path of kind of landing into Geartrade. And Geartrade at that point in time was owned by Jim Holland and John Brzee, who were the founders of Backcountry. And I had known them because I had worked for them long before they left Backcountry. And they had held the asset, and they really hadn't done anything with it. It was kind of in an interesting spot, just in the sense that the website needed to be updated, the experience needed to be updated, and they hadn't invested in it in about a decade. It just kind of been on the side. It had just been kind of doing its thing. And
were they running it day to day? Is that what kept them from all that update, or they just kind of threw it up there and let it run its course?
They just kind of threw it up there and let it run. And so I ended up acquiring Geartrade in November of 2019. So right before COVID.
But I've talked to some people on the show that turned out to be pretty darn good timing.
Yeah. For sure.
In hindsight, at the time, you're like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?"
I mean, things happen for a reason, and the reason why I ended up buying or acquiring Geartrade was it just had a lot of opportunity. It fell into the space that I thought was a really interesting space. Recommerce had all of a sudden become kind of a thing that people were talking about. And I felt that there was a really good opportunity to build something in the outdoor space that's interesting, that could offer a really good service for our customers. So that's really kind of the inspiration behind Geartrade. And there's a number of other different elements that are layered in there, right? It's climate change. It's just how do we as a society become a little bit more conscious about our actions and really trying to build effectively what I thought was an opportunity around sustainable retail, right? How do you build a sustainable retail business model? And recommerce is the start of that.
Yeah, it's a good way to do that. Yeah. So tell our listeners a little bit about Geartrade. How does it work?
Yeah, so Geartrade is effectively a recommerce platform, and we have really kind of two components to it. Component number one is a peer-to-peer marketplace. So we have numerous sellers that go on, list a product, and we help facilitate the sale of that product. Component number two is our consignment model. And we know that within kind of the resale of gear, there's a number of friction points, and it makes it difficult for people to want to actively participate in the market. It's really difficult to have the time and the energy to list a number of things within your space. So our consignment model is really designed for those people that just want somebody else to do it. Right. So we will send a customer a box, a bag, a shipping label. We'll get those products out of that that seller's house, and we'll go ahead and do all of the work. So we'll build the SKU, we'll write the copy, we'll take photos, we'll inventory it, we'll sell it, we'll market it, we'll sell it, we'll ship it. If customer doesn't like it, we even offer returns for people that buy an item, right? Because we know that if you buy a jacket, the fit might not work, or
you gotta get it in your hands, right? Yeah,
right. So we allow people to return it, and we deal with the reverse logistics within returns, and really just trying to create an experience for both buyers and sellers that makes the used gear experience just so much more frictionless. And so that's the model that we've really been building up over the last 2 years, and really kind of designing and developing and really pushing. And given the number of people that are using the service and platform now, it's been a pretty big success.
I'll bet that's pretty popular, because a lot of us have stuff. I was just thinking about going through some of my stuff and doing something like that with it. And you're right. I don't want to go through all the hassle of an eBay-like experience where I got to set it up, I got to take the pictures, I got to do blah, 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 blah. So that's a great service.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the beautiful thing about it, right? It's like you just pile the stuff in a box. You don't have to you don't have to tell us what it is. It's completely random.
Wow, you just throw it in a bag, box, and ship it back, and you'll figure it out. Wow, that's amazing.
And we have a team of people that they're gear experts. They've got a lot of outdoor experience, and we go through and it's high touch, right? Every single item that we receive is an item of one, unit of one, quality of one, and we go through every item, and we look at we look at numerous kind of touch points on a product to make sure that it's resellable, that it's in a specific condition, that it will work for the next person.
At least ask that they clean it.
We ask that they clean it. Oftentimes it doesn't come back clean, so we try to work through that. We want the experience to be as frictionless as possible.
Mm-hmm. I would think you'd want it clean just for your staff, though, to be able to deal with it.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, so we do have, we put those rules up.
But you deal with it if it doesn't happen. That makes sense. You just get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we deal with it, and we have protocols internally to kind of work around that and just make sure that, because we don't want employees getting sick or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
But it is something that comes through.
Yeah. Do you have a limit? Like, what if a person like me who's been in the outdoor industry for 30 years, I've got a collection of stuff. I gave away my skis about a month ago, so there's not those anymore. But what if I had like one of those small shipping moving boxes? Could someone send that to you full of stuff?
Yep.
Wow.
And we've received those.
Really? No kidding.
Yep.
Someone's cleaning out their garage. I'm done with it.
Yep. So
wow.
we don't have a limit. We don't have a limit on number of products. We've had customers send in funny story. The very first box that we received when we turned on the service was a box the size of an electric lawnmower box.
Okay.
And it was actually an electric lawnmower box. We call it the lawnmower box experience. And it was probably 4 times the size of the boxes that we send out to people that order a box. And there was probably about 150 products, and it was the first box that we got. And there were a couple of things that just kind of blew us away by it. Number one was, okay, well, this works. Clearly there's an opportunity here. And number two was, it just kind of put an exclamation point on the fact that people just have so much stuff in their house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so much stuff, and then not enough time to deal with it, and you don't want to deal with it, right? I think that's the biggest, from what it sounds like to me, that's the biggest service you provide, is I don't have to deal with it, right? I mean, we're all busy, we got jobs, we got go vacations to go on, and adventures to go do. Let's sip this all back, and you guys handle it. That's amazing.
Right.
Did you look at each other, or did your staff look at each other and go, oh, geez, I hope we don't get all the boxes like this? Or maybe you did. Maybe it's like, this is great.
Yeah, we kind of looked. I mean, it's a running joke in our office right now. We always it's something that we just always talk about. At the end of the day, I mean, it's a great thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're getting stuff, we're getting product, we're getting items that we can resell to our customers. Like that's a great thing. That's
and solving
awesome.
problems for you're getting stuff to sell, and you're solving the consumer's problem. You get rid of the stuff, and it doesn't go in the landfill. So it's
right. So it's something that we're actually pretty excited about.
That's awesome.
we love the fact that that was one of our first boxes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I imagine your experience and probably some other folks that work there now, experience at backcountry.com is just invaluable. Not only the commerce side of it, retail side of it, but all the, consumer, how to talk a consumer through a return or a sizing or anything like that. It's got to be unbelievable.
Yeah, Backcountry is such a great place to work. It's such a great growth opportunity, and I'm pretty lucky that I got the experience that I did at Backcountry. I originally started there in 2005. I graduated from the University of Utah. I traveled around the world for a couple of months, just kind of chasing snow, skiing in New Zealand and South America, and kind of doing that lifestyle. And came back, and Salt Lake I worked up at Snowbird, and Salt Lake had just an amazing winter that year. It was one of the years that Snowbird was open until July 4th. I want to say, my memory is probably not as good as it
close enough.
Once was, but I want to say that year Snowbird got almost like 750 inches or something like that. It was unreal. But so I came back from kind of traveling around the world, started snowing around Halloween, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna work I'll work up at the ski resort. So I worked up at Snowbird. Snowbird was a fantastic opportunity. I worked on the tram deck, just kind of doing demo skis and getting people on equipment and skiing every day, and just having a great time. And every year the resorts kind of go through their seasonal layoffs, right? And it's just part of the experience of working up at the resorts. And I wanted to stay in Salt Lake and wanted to kind of figure out what to do next. And so I ended up applying for a job at Backcountry, and I am in quirky, weird things. I started at Backcountry as an account payable clerk.
Oh, wow.
So
from retail as you can get.
Pretty much. But I mean, it's a necessary, at the end of the day, it was a really awesome foot in the door. It was pretty eye-opening, right? I mean, when Backcountry buys inventory, you got to match the invoice to the inventory that was received. And it's just it's a bottom level, it's a base level process.
Pretty huge though, because you got to see how the back of the house worked in addition to the front of the house. So that's huge.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I think the more invaluable part was just getting to, be around the people. And there's such a great culture at Backcountry, just in terms of the people that they hire and the passion that's in that building. And I got to work with some really fantastic people, especially before Backcountry ended up kind of going through the private equity phase. And I moved over into merchandising in 2006, and at the very bottom level, I kind of worked my way through buying and held multiple different buying roles, buying for all different categories, whether it be skiing, whether it be paddle sports, whether it be footwear, on and on. And when I left Backcountry, the job title that I had was vice president of hard goods merchandising and digital merchandising. So I had been managing the entire equipment and hard goods buying team.
Got a master's degree in retail.
Yep. And I also while I was at Backcountry, I also got my MBA from the university. So there's a number of different layers there. Mm-hmm. But it's an experience that I think exposed me to just so many different things in the industry, right? It's brands, it's products, it's trends, it's marketing, it's just how does the industry as a whole operate? And so much of that is just so invaluable in what we're doing today and how we relate that back to our customers.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good for you. How many members do you guys have as of today?
Yeah, so we have almost 400,000 users on Geartrade.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we've actually got a pretty robust customer base, and it's growing daily, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Is there a pro type level for someone who's either in the industry or works as a guide, say something? It's a tricky issue these days.
Yeah, we don't have a pro form or a pro level type program. But we do have, so we did launch our rewards program about a month ago. And within that rewards program, we reward people for hitting different thresholds. And so if somebody is a power seller or selling a lot of items or even buying a lot of items, we give them different breaks. right? So we have numerous sellers that sell quite a few items, and so we give them lower commission rates. They want to earn more money. We have numerous people that buy a lot of different products, and we give them credits for future purchase. And so our rewards program is really kind of designed to be all encompassing and really trying to give our customers a reward for being loyal to us and really giving us an opportunity to help them do what they want to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how do you work with brands? You also do buy closeouts from?
So we don't necessarily buy closeouts. It kind of goes against our model. We do buy from brands as used returns.
Oh, okay.
And we also buy samples, right? So we call it a really kind of non-standardized inventory. So like sample sets where it's like the rep just wants to get rid of it. It's been tried on. We'll buy that inventory, and we have a couple of brands where we buy their used returns, right? Somebody uses a product and returns it. They can't sell it as brand new, and so we take that and we'll help them move it.
That's perfect because it fits with your overall ethos. That makes total sense. Yeah. We try to be pretty careful about the closeout thing, just because our point of view is that we want to try and reduce consumption through the sale and of used gear, and closeout kind of goes against that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're going to take a little break and give some love to our sponsor, Wolfgang Man and Beast. Wolfgang Man and Beast celebrates the unique relationship between dogs and their people. They offer American-made leashes and collars for your pup using only the finest American leathers and textiles, plus a distinctive collection of t-shirts and hats for you. Built domestically and transported minimally, they'll be replaced rarely. Visit the outdoorbizpodcast.com/Wolfgang and get your pup a new leash or collar today. I see tails wagging furiously in your future. Now, back to the show. So, can you talk about any plans for the future? Do you guys, you seem to have I was on the site a couple times now, so it's a wide range of products. I don't know if there's any product categories you're missing, but anything you're looking to expand into, or a physical store someday? See that down the road?
It's
one of those never say never things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, never say never, right? We have so many things right now just in terms of our experience that we're trying to fine tune, right? If I look at kind of the things that we've launched over the last 2 years, we had a redesigned website in June of 2020. We introduced a cart so that people can buy multiple items at one time, which, believe it or not, is a lot more complicated than you think.
I can only imagine.
When you have multiple sellers in play.
Right.
We've launched credits, we've launched loyalty, we've launched our consignment program. Really kind of the features and functionality that we continue to be really hyper-focused on is just, decreasing the friction within our experience and just trying to give our customers the best service and the best experience possible, right? We believe that we effectively serve our customers the best when we're not noticed at all.
Yeah, no, that's right. When it's seamless.
Smooth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very smart. Good for you. Let's shift gears a little bit. How has COVID impacted your business? You started right at COVID, so maybe it's all.
Yeah, COVID's been interesting, right? And COVID's interesting for a number of different reasons. First and foremost is there's what we call the COVID wave, right? And so we're having this conversation today on April 6th, right? So 2 years ago.
2022, yeah.
Right. So 2 years ago in March was when everything started to get shut down. And the ironic story, or the Utah story, is that really kind of started to shut down when Rudy Gobert tested positive. He's a basketball player.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The NBA the next day decided to shut down. And then at that point in time, everybody started throwing in the towel. And they're like, yep, we're out.
Yeah, that's when the world realized, we got something on our hands here that we got to deal with. Yeah.
Right. And it's looking back on it, it's so crazy because at that point in time, we were in the middle of kind of redesigning our website. So we didn't have anything. We were just kind of we had our old platform, which left a lot to be desired. And when the lockdowns happened, there was probably about a 15-day window where things just hit pause. And then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to go outside.
Yep.
So we got the benefit of kind of the outside tailwind, right? Everybody was looking for inventory. We had inventory. And so we kind of We caught that wave. But the second thing that ended up happening is, unfortunately, because brick and mortar stores had to shut down, there was a transition from offline to online, and digital kind of got a big push.
Yep.
So we benefited from that as well. But with that being said, I mean, every single year since kind of that COVID lockdown, it's been something new, right? It's an exciting time to be in business because there's a lot of problems to solve, and demand is not your typical demand, right? It's all over the place. I mean, March of 2020, COVID lockdowns, right? The next year, we're just trying to grapple with how do we serve customers in a market where they just want to go outside and they're moving out of cities. We get to March of 2021 and it's all of a sudden everybody wants to travel because they are vaccinated. And then this year, unfortunately, we're dealing with the Ukraine crisis, right? And all of that entails, and of course, inflationary pressure that consumers are feeling. So it's been a wild ride for the last couple of years, and really kind of COVID is kind of an interesting starting point for all of it. But in general, our business has fared pretty well through all of it. Again, like we're online, so we've taken advantage of kind of the offline to online shift. We are in outdoor, so we've taken advantage of consumers going after more outdoor products.
Your timing couldn't have been better for those two trends, right? I mean, you talk about launching with a tailwind. Perfect.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's absolutely no question about it. I would not take it back for anything.
And I was going to say, are you still seeing the folks getting outside? Because we're still seeing that here in Bishop. The campgrounds are still, well, not right now at the moment. It's April. We're still kind of wandering through spring here, but the campgrounds are projected to be full. They were full last year. The ski areas have been, Mammoth's been just hitting it, even though we don't have any snow. So, are you still seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, we're still seeing that within kind of our data and
right.
with our sales trends. And I mean, even again, I live in Park City, and Park City's been a madhouse for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the ski resorts have been crazy. Even summer's been wild. Usually, it used to be that summer was kind of a quiet time, and now, I mean, people are mountain biking, people are hiking, and just people are. I think the really exciting thing, and I hope it's a trend that stays, is that people are recognizing that the outdoors can be soothing and the outdoors can be a fantastic place to find your mind, the right mindset, and the right kind of exercise and the right kind of activity. And I think that's the most exciting thing about all of this, is it's almost kind of induced a shift, kind of a collective shift in people's mindsets around kind of their relationship with nature.
Yeah, we're almost getting back to when the outdoors first became a thing, way back when people started camping with trailers and things and getting their families out. And now they're doing that again. And even in the winter, I mean, we're seeing it here in Bishop. Obviously, we have great weather in the winter, so you can camp and fish and hike and bike and climb year round. So we see a lot of that year round. It's more prevalent in the summer because there's more people, but it's great. It's absolutely fantastic.
Right. Yeah. No, we're in the same spot. And it's just an exciting time to be in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
I think you see it from the brands. I think you see it from brick and mortar retailers. I think you see it from REI and Backcountry and Evo. And
the guides, everybody's digging it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody seems to be kind of operating in a really good place. And I think that's the exciting part, is the consumers are into it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. What outdoor activities do you participate in? Do you get outside a bunch, or are you behind the Geartrade wall too much?
I mean, there's a balance though, right?
Yeah, you got to get outside.
So I moved to Utah because I wanted to be closer to skiing, right? And so in the winter, I'm skiing as much as possible. And I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and so we we skied quite a bit this winter, which was exciting. She was getting into it, and she was starting to like it. In summer, it's trail running and mountain biking. I live in Park City so that I can be right next to the trails and I don't have to drive to a trailhead. I can just go right out my door and be moving and get my energy out for the day. And
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Get yourself
be in a good mindset.
Yep, exactly. That's awesome. Do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get into the outdoor?
The outdoor industry there's so much opportunity in the outdoor industry, right? And whether it's retail or whether it's brands or whether it's something else, whether it's resorts or resort towns.
Yeah, the outdoor aspect, I think, I got a degree in outdoor recreation specifically, and back then it wasn't as broad as it is today. Today, like you're saying, it's from resorts to a backpacking guide. It's a pretty wide range of things you can do. You're spot on.
Right. There's so much there. And really when I started in the outdoor industry, I was just trying to find my way as a young kid, trying to, find a real job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And ski more. Yeah. Right.
And ski more. And it's like, how do you integrate your passions with life? Right. Because life is real and there's a lot there. And I think that the really important part is to find a place, find something that you're interested in and is in a place that you can enjoy. You don't necessarily have to work in the outdoor industry to enjoy the outdoors. I think the really interesting thing about Salt Lake is that we have a very vibrant community, right? With the Silicon slopes. And
I've never heard it called that before. That's cool.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they move to Utah and they work for tech companies and they ski quite a bit or they mountain bike quite a bit, trail run quite a bit. You don't have to work in the industry to be a part of the industry. But if you do want to work in the industry, there's a lot of really awesome places to work, right? And there's a lot of really good opportunities to kind of find your place. And there's brands, there's shops, there's every which way. But for the right people, the industry seems to find a way to level those people up.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty great place. It's been good for me. Good for you too, sounds like.
Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of outdoor gear under $100?
There's so much.
Just to narrow that down, I'm gonna have to make it under $50 because you're right.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. The hard part about outdoor is that it's a pretty expensive industry, right? It's a luxury industry, and it can be pretty expensive, pretty cost prohibitive. But I bought a pair of Salomon trail running shoes off of Geartrade that I've almost worn through.
Wow.
But I'm probably in a spot where I need to sort that out. But I have a pair of S-Lab Sense Ultra 7s that I trail run in quite frequently. And I got them on Geartrade for under $100.
There you go. That's a good, yeah. Well, that's a good place to shop for something under $100 because you can get a nice pair of shoes for under $100 like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you read a lot? Do you have any favorite books? Any business books?
I don't read books a lot. I read a lot of like publications, just news, right? Trying to stay up with current events. So like some of the things that I'm interested in are like Fast Company and just industry articles, just what's happening within the industry, and the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, all that stuff. I spend a lot of my time reading a lot of news, a lot of trends, a lot of just what's happening, right? Trying to piece together markets and stuff like that. If anything, there's probably if I do read any books, it's usually something that's like mindless.
Yeah, right. Take me away. Take me somewhere else for a minute. Yeah.
It's something that's going to make me laugh for a moment.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because you're getting things through the publications and the periodicals. You're getting things that are a little more current. Sometimes you read a business book and it's very valuable, but it might be a little bit old, whereas Inc. magazine or Fast Company could have happened last month.
Yeah. I mean, the hard part about our world is that there's so much information and it's fast. So I try to just stay on top of who's doing what, how they're doing it, and just try to learn as much as possible just about how, what consumers are doing. I think that I find that really consumer behavior and logic is just something that just wildly entertains me.
Pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating.
So I try to spend a lot of time just thinking about that and reading about that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. As we wrap up here, is there anything else you'd like to ask or say to our listeners?
No, I mean, thank you for the time, and I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk about Geartrade and what we're doing. I think that there's a number of exciting things that ultimately we're trying to build. We want to create an ecosystem for our customers that allows them to buy and sell used gear and just create a more sustainable business model that allows people to find great outdoor product for lower prices.
Yeah, I love it. I love the concept too, because it's kind of, you're creating a new way for a lot of us to buy too, which is for those of us that want to keep our consumption down, but we need a new pair of something or other. It's a great place to do that. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Good job. Good on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And if people want to follow up with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, best way to follow up is reach out at hello@geartrade.com. That's our email address. Or hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Geartrade. We have the Geartrade handle on all three. So you can follow us, like us, reach out to us. We monitor all of those channels daily.
Perfect. Well, we'll link to all that in the show notes. Well, Aaron, thanks for the time. It's been great to talk to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I look forward to maybe catching up with you in Park City at the big gear show or something.
Yeah, would love to.
Yeah.
We're around. We went last year, and we'll be there this year.
I'll be there this year too. Yeah, well, I'll see you there.
Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you'll find show notes with links to everything we talked about and more. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or spread the word and tell a friend about the show. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week. And thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Rick Saez.